Do you want to learn how to sing and you don't know where or how to start? Would you like to learn what are the first steps that you need to take to build a healthy vocal technique? Today, we will be discussing 3 important singing techniques that you can practice at home in order to start your vocal training or simply to refresh your knowledge. Building a healthy vocal technique is like building a home. When you build a home, you start by digging the foundation. Without a solid foundation, your home would simply sink into the ground or crumble. A good foundation provides support for a structure, ensuring its longevity, lasting for decades and possibly even forever. Your voice functions in exactly the same way. The foundations of singing will help you build a healthy technique. They will give you consistency and longevity to your voice, preventing any potential vocal damage, and they will give you enough vocal freedom so that you can focus on developing your craft. Before we start, it's important to understand that your voice is as unique as your fingerprints. So, vocal technique should be worked out with a professional voice instructor in a personalized one-on-one lesson. A voice instructor will be aware of your strengths and weaknesses and will be able to give you instant feedback and guide you in the right direction. The tips I am going to share with you today are general techniques that are useful for any musical genre that you might be interested in, whether you want to sing pop, R&B, jazz, musical theater, or even opera. Many of the vocal issues that arise are due to skipping these very basic steps in your training. Tip number 1, stretching. Wake up your body. Stretch. Your instrument is not only your vocal cords, your instrument is your entire body. Singers are vocal athletes. Just as athletes need to stretch and warm up their bodies before a marathon, singers need to stretch and warm up their bodies as well. Plus, stretching can benefit your physical and mental well-being, so why not? Think of your practice session as a marathon, a vocal marathon. It is important that you take the time to stretch, loosen your muscles, and wake up your body. A proper stretch will ensure that your body is fully prepared to start singing. Here is a short and simple routine to get you started. Let's start with the neck roll. Stand up straight. Slightly move your chin down toward the chest. Slowly roll your head in one direction, taking about 7 seconds. Imagine that you're drawing a big circle with your nose. Repeat on the other side. Let's move on to your shoulders. Shoulder roll. Without bending the arms, slowly raise the shoulders and roll them back in a circular motion 5 times. Repeat with the forward motion. Repeat this sequence twice. Shoulder stretch. Bring one arm overhead and drop your forearm behind you, resting in your back between your shoulder blades. With your other hand, hold the area right above the bent elbow and pull gently. Hold for 10 seconds. Switch to the other arm and repeat. Chest stretch. Start by standing tall, fingers interlocked behind you. Keeping your back straight and shoulder blades together, push your arms up until you feel a little stretch in your back. Hold for 10 to 20 seconds. Waist stretch. Stand straight. Place your left hand on your waist. Bend your right arm and place it above your head. Bend your torso slightly to the left to stretch your waist thoroughly. Hold the stretch for about 20 seconds. Repeat the stretch on the other side. This is a nice and short routine you can do every day before your practice session, or you can come up with your own routine. Let's move on to tip number 2. Tip number 2, posture. We all know about the importance of having a good posture. When you were a child, your parents probably told you on several occasions, stand up straight. Well, as it turns out, they were right. Having a good posture is as important as keeping a healthy diet, a good night's rest, and exercising. A good posture improves your mood, reduces headaches, and improves concentration. A good posture also gives you a psychological boost, making you feel more confident and therefore helping you with your stage presence. A good posture is vital for your overall health. But did you know that it also affects your vocals? A good posture strengthens your voice and eliminates unnecessary tension, allowing your breathing mechanism to function more efficiently. This means that a poor posture will affect how you use your air for singing and will affect how much air you can actually take in. A good posture is achieved by understanding your body and being aware of it. So, how can you start working on your posture? First of all, find a mirror. We will start from the bottom up, so pay attention to your feet. Make sure your feet are slightly together and that your weight is evenly distributed. Let's move on to your legs. Your legs support your entire body, so they will never be completely relaxed, and that's fine. Just make sure that they never feel rigid. Just imagine that your legs are flexible and ready to move at any given moment. The same applies to your knees. Never pull them back or lock them. Your hips should be aligned with the imaginary vertical line that goes from your feet to your head. Your abdomen should feel relaxed. Do not contract your abdominals. By contracting your abdominals, you are not allowing your diaphragm to descend, creating tension not only in your abdominal wall, but also unnecessary pressure in your vocal box. We will be talking more about your diaphragm shortly. For now, let's move on to the proper position of your chest. Your chest should be open at all times, before, during, and after you take a breath. Your ribs might move while you're taking a breath, but your chest should always remain open. Your shoulders should be rolled back and then allowed to drop down. They should remain in this position at all times. Your arms and hands should hang naturally, free of tension and ready to move at any moment. And finally, your head. Your head should not be hanging forward, nor should it be tilted back. Your head should be aligned with your shoulders and the rest of your body. When your head is pushed forward or tilted backwards, the neck and throat muscles tense up, preventing your vocal cords from moving freely. Think of your head as an extension of your spine. A good trick is to think about your chin as being a little bit tucked in. By doing this, we avoid the bad habit of raising our chin when singing high notes. And just like that, you have a good and healthy posture for singing. Let's move on to our last tip. Tip number 3, breathing. Breathing is one of the most important elements in singing. You might be thinking, oh my God, but breathing is natural. I am a pro. I breathe every day, every second. I know how to do it. And yes, you're absolutely right. You already know how to breathe, but what you might not know is that the breath you take on a daily basis is in small amounts and it is involuntary. The breath you take for singing is a well thought and a controlled one. Singing is the result of a process called phonation. During phonation, air passes through our vocal folds in the larynx, making our vocal cords vibrate, and as a result, a sound is produced. So basically, what allows us to sing is the air we take in. This is why breathing is an essential part of our singing. A proper breathing technique will help you increase your lung capacity, sustain notes for a longer period of time. It will help you produce a natural sound, increase your volume, improve stamina, minimize tension on your vocal folds, and bring better oxygenation to your entire body. Breathing for singing should be simple and efficient, and it should become automatic. So, once you understand how to breathe for singing, and once you put it into practice, it should become a muscular memory. That is, you know that you are breathing right when you no longer have to think about how to breathe right. Let's first establish how our natural everyday breath works before we introduce breathing for singing. Our normal everyday breath consists of three simple stages. Inhalation, where we take air in very small amounts. Exhalation, where we release that air quickly. And recovery, we rest a few seconds between breaths. Our everyday breathing is involuntary, meaning we don't give it too much thought. It just happens naturally. Now, breathing for singing has similar stages than our normal everyday breath, but it adds a very important stage, the suspension. Breathing for singing starts with the inhalation stage, just as our everyday breath. But the inhalation for singing is quicker. Sometimes we don't have enough time in a song to take a long breath, right? We also take way more air in because we have to sing long phrases. And we send the air deeper into our lungs, lowering the diaphragm, which in turn creates a nice sensation of expansion around the middle of our body. The diaphragm is a large dome-shaped muscle located under our lungs. It squeezes downward when we breathe in, functioning as a vacuum that brings fresh air into our lungs. The inhalation process is followed by the suspension. This stage is unique to our breathing for singing. During the suspension stage, the breath is suspended momentarily right after the inhalation has been completed. This process should prepare your body for singing and help you sing effortlessly. The suspension is followed by the exhalation. This one is a controlled one. In our everyday exhalation, we do not control it. The breath leaves our body very fast and our diaphragm stays mostly relaxed. When singing, we have to preserve and slowly release our air as the diaphragm slowly releases tension and turns to its original position. The expansion experienced during the inhalation will gradually decrease during this stage. Once you finish the exhalation phase, you will be ready for the recovery. The recovery is your moment to relax. This phase is as important as the other three because it is during this stage that you will allow all your breathing related muscles to release any kind of tension that might have built up. Without a good recovery phase, your muscles will get very tense, affecting your singing. Sometimes the recovery period is a very short one, lasting just a few seconds between phrases. It is important not only to understand how our breathing mechanism works, but to practice each stage. By practicing the coordination of our breathing for singing, we will improve our breathing technique and have more control over our voice. You should practice breathing exercises daily until the 4 stages of breathing for singing have become natural to you. Breathing exercises are very important to build a healthy breathing technique and to develop a good singing technique in general. The following breathing exercise should help you develop a healthy breathing technique, so it's definitely worth a try. Take a good breath through your mouth, pretending you are beginning a yawn. Imagine the air going deep into your lungs. Feel the rib cage expanding and your diaphragm lowering. Hold the expanded position for a moment. Maintain this expansion for as long as you feel comfortable. And exhale gently, producing a hiss sound or an S sound for about 8 seconds. Try keeping the S sound as steady as possible with no breath pressure. The S sound should be a controlled one, releasing the air slowly as the diaphragm gradually releases its tension and returns to its original position. And recover. Disengage all your breathing related muscles. We will repeat the same exercise, inhaling in 2 counts and exhaling in 10 counts. We will repeat the exercise a third time, inhaling in 2 counts and exhaling in 12 counts. This exercise is meant to be practiced every day until you can make your breath last for 25 seconds. You can use either the S sound or the SH sound, sh, or an F sound. Absolutely. Breathing through your nose filters, warms, and moisturizes the air so your throat doesn't dry out. Unfortunately, breathing through your nose limits the amount of air we can take in between phrases. Because of this, it is recommended to breathe mainly through your mouth, keeping an open throat sensation and using the inhalation as a preparation for singing. Breathing through your nose could be used when you know you have enough time to prepare a good breath, like at the beginning of a song, during a long rest, or during an interlude. If you are feeling lightheaded, please sit down and take a break. Feeling lightheaded could be a result of overbreathing, meaning that you are either hyperventilating or taking in more air than you need. If this is the case, remember that it is not necessarily about the quantity of air you can take in, but about how you manage it. Your lightheadedness could also be caused by holding your breath far too long, or it could be the result of a shallow breath. It's important to practice your breath control and management gradually and to not attempt to exhale in a count of 20 when you are not ready. Remember that quality is more important than quantity. Feeling lightheaded could also mean that you are not used to engaging on a low and controlled breath, and your body simply isn't used to it. If you are running out of air, review your posture. Roll your shoulders back, open and lift your chest, and keep this position at all times. Do not let your chest collapse while exhaling, especially when running low on air. Make sure you are taking a low, silent, and relaxed breath and that you are not contracting your abs. Think about some kind of economy of air. How much air can you take in, and how long do you need to make it last? It's easier to manage your breath when you know how long each phrase is. A good trick is to use your arms as a way of visualizing your breath. Expand your arms, mimicking the expansion of your rib cage and the downward movement of the diaphragm. After a short suspension, Start the hissing sound while moving your arms gradually and intensely back to its original position until you run out of air, almost like deflating a balloon. Your arms represent the controlled exhalation and the expansion movement of your abdominal area. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more educational videos like this.